probably shouldn't tell this story because it could be misconstrued as me dumping all over a very reputable company. I'm not going to name that company. It'll be pretty easy for anybody to figure out if they want to figure it out. I'm not going to name it though. This is the only time I had a full-time job. I want to talk about why I left that job. And it was a great job. And I want to talk about why I left because there's some cool lessons in there, some inspiring lessons in there. I'm going to keep this story short. Got a haircut to go to in a little bit. But let's hop in the time machine. Let's hop in the Edwards Show time machine. I love going in this time machine. And the year is 2016. And I start at this agency, this top agency doing SEO for some of the biggest companies in the world. Companies like Coca-Cola or McDonald's or Disney doing SEO for these companies, search engine optimization for these companies. So when I start at this company at the end of 2016, I am one of the worst ones at SEO at the company. I thought I was hot stuff. I was so bad. I lied during the interviews on what I was capable of. I'm gonna make this its own story on a different episode about how I lied in these interviews because that's a great story. But there was one guy there who thought I was lying, and then the other two people who interviewed me, they're like, "Nah, he's cool." And so I get the job doing SEO for these big companies. And immediately I feel insecure. All these people are familiar with all these tools that I'm not familiar with. And I really feel like I don't know enough. And I won't do a good enough job to serve the clients. And so, whereas like at the end of work, most of my colleagues are going to bars, they're getting drunk. And I think this is the case at a lot of companies. After work, most people, they just want to unwind. A lot of employees, they just want to unwind. And so after work, the people that I worked with, they would go to a bar, they would get drunk, they would hang out, they would laugh, they would have fun. Maybe they'd go home, they'd watch something, they'd Netflix and chill. But I would go home and I would learn and I would study search engine optimization because I'm like, I got to get better at this. Like these people are so much better than me. And then I would come to the company the next day. I would come to work the next day trying to talk about my learnings. Like, oh my God, this is amazing. I learned this, I learned that. It's so cool. And I learned that it is such a strength to be obsessive and to be a curious and eager learner. And the people that I was working with, even though they were doing search engine optimization, they did not share the same passion for learning it. And I would go and I would read different marketing experiments and search engine optimization experiments. And these people, they weren't interested in learning these experiments and getting better at their craft. And even though these people were doing it, they were doing it for big companies at a top agency, they weren't interested in it, which is crazy to me. And so after 3 months, I was better than everybody at the company at search engine optimization, with the exception of one person who was mentoring me. And it was the guy who was better than me, was the guy who could tell that I was lying in the interview. And within 3 months, he was the only person at the company who was better than me at SEO. And that is just because I was doing that in my spare time. I wanted to get better at this. I was doing that in my spare time. And then within 3 months after that, I was the best at the company. That other guy, though, who was good, he was almost as obsessive as me. And I want to say, if you are obsessive about your craft and you work in a company and you don't care about being an entrepreneur, because there's lots of people who don't care about being an entrepreneur. And if you're just obsessive about what you do and you want to get better and you talk about it with everybody, like the guy who was mentoring me did, you will go so far. This guy, after 2017, he left that company. He became head of SEO at the biggest marketing agency in the world by market cap. It's a publicly traded agency. I'm not going to name it. Again, very easy to find out. Biggest marketing agency in the world by market cap. The guy became head of search engine optimization there. That makes him like the king of SEO, the king of search engine optimization. If you are the head of SEO at the biggest publicly traded marketing agency, then you, in my mind, you are the king of SEO. No offense to him. I love him. I'm way better at SEO than him, but he's definitely better at managing and selling clients than I am. That guy is a beast at selling enterprise clients. That was something else. Like the real strength there, the real strength, if you're doing marketing in an agency, and I talk about marketing, this is a marketing podcast. I love marketing. If you're doing marketing in an agency, something that's so important is actually selling the clients. And you don't even have to be that great at what you're selling, but you gotta be great at selling the clients. And I was more focused on being this savant at SEO rather than a savant at selling, which is a very, very important skill, but it's not my favorite skill. I like learning inbound strategies where I can just sit behind a computer, create a funnel. I don't have to talk to anybody. And then that funnel will generate customers. And all the selling that I did was writing some sales copy. And that's more fun for me than doing the in-person sales, which is what people at big agencies need to really be good at. And this guy who was my mentor, who simultaneously actually had an interest in SEO, he was also very good and very interested in the in-person selling. And that's why he is a beast and he is king of the industry. But the other people at this company, they had a mild interest in selling and they didn't really care about search engine optimization at all. It was horrific. I would go out to, I would try to create relationships with everybody, would go out to lunch with them, be like, I'm learning this about SEO. I'm learning this about SEO. They're like, oh, cool. And then that's it. They wouldn't know what to say. And be like, all right, what are you watching on TV? Then they would definitely know what to say. And they couldn't do it. And I felt after several months of this company, I felt like I wasn't growing. Also, I wanted to do all sorts of like bold moves with search engine optimization for some like, oh man, it's crazy. Some of the things that I learned here, the biggest companies in the world. And I'm not saying we were doing this at this agency, but I'm saying we saw competing companies to our clients that were doing this. The biggest companies in the world are doing like black hat performance marketing, black hat search engine optimization, but it's not the big agencies that do that. And I didn't want to do black hat. I didn't even want to do gray hat. But what I wanted to do was maybe like at the fringe of white hat, which is, so black hat is against the rules. Gray hat, you're not really sure. And then white hat, it was definitely white hat, but it was an unusual tactic that I wanted to do that I saw actually, you know what? I can talk about it. One of the biggest accounting software companies was doing all this black hat SEO. And I'm like, we can counter this. We don't even have to do black hat. We can do some things that are like on the fringe of white hat. And it was just too bold. It was too ambitious. And the people at this agency didn't want to do it. On my own or with people that I'm working with, I will do big and bold things. And I'll tell you this, 90% of the time they work out. And when they work out, they generate so much traffic. It's crazy how much traffic. And forever. I talk about why I love search engine optimization so much. And it's because you set up a funnel and then it just generates you sales forever. Oh my God. So something that I'm going to do is I don't even know. I want to make a product. It's going to be probably like a course. I don't like that word. It's a dirty word. A course. It's going to be just something that I have learned, that I've spent like years learning, that's very valuable. I don't know exactly what it is because I know so many things. And then I'm going to make a page on my site for it, sell it, set up an inbound funnel for it, and then it's just going to make me sales. It's just going to make me sales forever. I mean, not forever. Realistically, like 5 years. Maybe more. You know what? I set up this inbound SEO funnel for one of my companies, Reverb.chat. It's a software company. It's a SaaS company, software as a service. You record your voice. It's stored in the cloud. You share it with a link. And I set that up at the end of 2019, at the beginning of 2020, generating so many sales for us now. And we're dumping all of that monthly recurring revenue into development now. It's like really exciting. We just had a team call this morning about how we're going to pour all of our MRR, our monthly recurring revenue, just into development. We're going to fix some bugs. We're going to put in new features. I'm really hyped. And so anyway, back in time machine, 2017 now, and I felt like I wasn't growing. I wanted to do these bold things. Company didn't want to do them. I couldn't learn SEO from anybody there because I was the best and people didn't want to learn with me. And so I left. But the lesson is, if you do work at a company, you're obsessive like I am, and you don't care to be an entrepreneur, you can crush it to such insane degrees. My mentor, my friend, he like crushed it at the company. He's like head of SEO, but then was doing all this other stuff that was making so much money. He's a millionaire now, a multimillionaire. And yeah, completely crushed it. So this is episode 71 of the Edward Show. I realized, I keep realizing this. If you want to bring value to other people's lives, you gotta bring value to yourself. You gotta have a smile on your face. I want to make people feel as good as like my favorite content makes me feel. And why does it make me feel that good? It's because the people enjoy making it. And so I enjoy recording this for you. I have a big smile on my face, and I hope this episode brought value. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to talk to all of you. I'm going to talk to all of you again tomorrow. Bye now.